Ready. Play.
The Collins change of heart. So for anyone who hasn't been fastidious on tennis Twitter or ever to see this, so the storyline really goes that the United Cup a couple of days ago released their basically their players list, players that have confirmed for the tournament, for both the men and the women, and a surprise name popped up on there for the Team USA. So we knew that Coco Gauff was probably going to lead the line, but then a certain Danielle Collins popped up as a player that was going to be playing, and that kind of perked a lot of people's interest. Certainly as some people going, well, maybe it's a provisional list, maybe that she got added automatically, there's a mistake or anything like that. And then a few hours later, I think it was like 12 hours later or whatnot, she put up an Instagram post, as well as also I think a post on a couple of the social media platforms, detailing that she's actually still going to continue playing, and a lot of it's mainly down to the fact as a few of you know, she's got quite a nasty disease which causes her problems. Certainly has the potential, is causing us some medical problems when it comes to her trying to have a baby, which is something, and start a family, which is something that she wants to do, and she's really keen to do. And because of some things she's doing with doctors, it's going to take a bit more time before she can actually, be able to, do that and be able to start a family. That she's going to use that time to still continue to play main tour tennis. So she will be playing the United Cup, and by the looks of it, she will also still be playing, be going into the Australian Open. So what do we think of Danielle Collins coming up, doing a complete 180? And it is worth noting that, a lot of tennis journalists in tournaments, certainly after the Miami tournament, repeatedly asking the question of, are you going to reverse your retirement decision given the fact you're playing so well? And her being quite forceful with her responses back in terms of saying, no, this is my final year, stop asking me those questions. But what do you think of the fact that she's done a complete 180 on that, and she's going to be back on the tour from 2025?
Yeah, I mean, obviously announcing your retirement is not a binding contract. You can basically decide to come back at any time. We've had players coming back after like 8 years and deciding to keep playing. So, of course, yeah, it's her own choice. When it comes to the whole sort of how she was acting in the media rooms, yes, that's something that I don't think is nice, simply because, well, she was reacting to these questions as if they were sort of like forcing her to talk about her disease, or, I don't know, explaining it for the umpteenth time. But I think at least after some big titles, some big rounds this year, it was a very reasonable question to ask, what sort of results would make you change your mind. It turns out it wasn't their results, it's something different that made her change. But, well, in the end, I don't think it realistically is something that we should be bothering that much with at all. She is a very fierce character, both off the court and on the court. Some people aren't going to like it, some people are going to, and I've seen interviews where she was absolutely brilliant as well. So in the end, I guess it's just good to keep having her on tour. Obviously, she was one of the best players of the season for at least a few months this year, around Miami, maybe even a bit earlier to, let's say, the summer. So she also didn't get to play a few events this year. That's, well, perhaps in this form, she would have had a solid shot at going deep in, maybe even winning. So maybe she can actually do that next year. And clearly she still has the level. And otherwise, I don't really know what else I could say. If she wants to keep going, she's going to keep going. If she wants to give up, she's going to give up. Player retirements, it's a tricky topic sometimes because they announce it, you announce it, the media kind of goes on about the topic, and then you suddenly see them popping up 2 months later on some entry list, and they actually play the event because, well, why wouldn't they? So I know that sometimes, as let's say, a media member, it irritates me as well. I remember when, I don't know, Sergei Stakhovsky retires, and then 2 months later he plays the Australian Open, and I'm looking like a fool because I tweeted a few times about his retirement or his last match. But it is what it is. I mean, it's just something we have to deal with. I don't think, obviously, it's wrong of Collins to keep going. It's her life, her career, her choice.
I think a lot. I think a lot of it is probably down to it's it probably will add fuel to the fire to a lot of although you can make a statement saying you're going to retire, if you revoke, you revoke on what you say, then it adds to journalists for other certainly for other players as well. But really honing in and going, well, actually, are you really going to retire? Are you really gone? I mean, are we going to turn around and there'll be articles saying that Andy Murray's going to come back at some point, and actually Rafael Nadal isn't going to be retiring or whatnot. And it's certainly a case of. It's very much a matter of trust. I fear, certainly from the media side, that they'll write articles and there'll be tennis tournaments that will do like celebratory posts and little presentations at the end of events, and now they'll feel a little bit silly if then that player decides to still continue playing after being so clear, effectively saying that it was going to be the end of their career. But that is more from a general point of view of not only just Danielle, but other players as well that have said about their retirements and they basically gone, nope, Sykes, I'm actually going to come back again. But generally, as you say, given the season that Danielle had, certainly that first 6 months of the year was blooming brilliant from Danielle, basically unplayable at points. Against a lot of players. I mean, that Miami Charleston double that she did was, just absolutely brilliant from her. And as you say, ever since then, it hasn't really clicked into gear. Maybe because she was going into that second half of the season, she did put a bit of pressure on herself by saying she would like to get to Riyadh, and it looks as though she has fallen short. It's not all over as an option. There's now doubts over Barbora Krejcikova's involvement in Riyadh now, given that she picked up a pretty nasty injury this week, and then coupled with the fact that you never know, one more player may drop out because Navarro currently is ahead of Collins in the race rankings. But certainly there is a chance for Danielle to play it, and we know that she's got the Billie Jean King Cup this year still to play. So she's got a couple of events where she wants to, certainly end the season well. But she is one of the best players in the world on a day, and it's fantastic that she can continue to play. And she's a personality. She has the star potential, and the more times we can see her on the tennis court, the better, really.
Yeah, from a media perspective, it would certainly be good to always have the sort of like finality on these claims from tennis players. Yeah, just know when they are actually serious or not. I mean, I know that obviously Danielle was serious when she was announcing it, but then changed her mind. After all, tennis players are just people, and we are not the most important in this whole game, as the media. If we make fools out of ourselves, it doesn't really matter. It will happen. It will keep happening time and time again. So, yeah, I don't really have any problem with that. I don't know why I would have. It's pretty clear also that the announcement of the United Cup entry list was what propelled her to actually talk about this, right? Because otherwise, I think we probably would be getting this later. But anyway, it's her life, her choice. And, we'll keep watching and talking about Danielle Collins.
You certainly will, and it's certainly it's given the United Cup a little bit of an extra boost of promotion publicity. I know that a lot of people now or say a lot of people, but us as tennis fans, maybe starting to turn our attention down under in terms of the possibilities that could be coming out the Aussie summer this year.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.